Hello, and welcome back to Scrum Study. In our last video, we've had an overview of the review and retrospect phase. This phase consists of three processes. Today, we will be talking about the first process called Convene Scrum of Scrums. So let's get started with the inputs for the process. First of all, let's consider the Scrum Master, or Scrum Team Representatives, act as the source of input. Normally, one member from each Scrum team will represent his or her team in the Scrum of Scrums, or SOS meeting. In most cases, this is the Scrum Master, but at times someone else may represent the team. A single person may be nominated by the team to represent them in every SOS meeting, or the representative may change over time based on who can best fulfill the role depending on current issues and circumstances. Each person involved in the meeting should have the technical understanding to be able to identify instances in which teams could cause each other impediments or delays. Moving on, the tool being used to carry out review and retrospect is the Scrum of Scrum meetings. These are preferably short meetings where a representative from each Scrum team meets to share status of the respective teams. The Scrum of Scrums, or SOS meeting, is held at predetermined intervals or when required by Scrum teams to facilitate the sharing of information among different Scrum teams. Issues, dependencies, and risks impacting multiple Scrum teams can be closely monitored, which helps the various teams working on a large project better coordinate and integrate their work. It is the responsibility of the Chief Scrum Master or another Scrum Master who facilitates the SOS meetings to ensure that all representatives have an environment conducive to open and honest sharing of information, including feedback to other team representatives. For larger projects involving a significant number of teams, multiple levels of these meetings can be convened to share the status of the respective teams. Since Scrum favors small teams, one may think that this method can only be used on small projects. But this is not the case. Scrum can also be used effectively on large-scale projects. When more than 10 people are required to carry out the work, multiple Scrum teams may be formed. The project team consists of multiple Scrum teams working together to create deliverables and product releases, so as to achieve outcomes desired for the overall project. Since a project can have multiple Scrum teams working in parallel, coordination between different teams becomes important. The Scrum teams usually communicate and coordinate with each other in a variety of ways, but the most common approach is known as a Scrum of Scrums, or SOS meeting. Members representing each Scrum team come together to discuss progress, issues, and to coordinate activities between teams. These meetings are similar in format to the daily stand-up meetings. However, the frequency of the Scrum of Scrums could be at predetermined intervals or coordinated as required by the different Scrum teams. A Scrum of Scrums meeting is an important element when scaling Scrum to large projects. Typically, there is one representative in the meeting from each Scrum team, usually the Scrum Master. But it is also common for anyone from the Scrum team to attend the meeting if required. This meeting is usually facilitated by the Chief Scrum Master and is intended to focus on areas of coordination and integration between different Scrum teams. This meeting is conducted at predetermined intervals or when required by the Scrum teams. In organizations that have several Scrum teams working on portions of a project simultaneously, the SOS meeting can be scaled up another level to what is referred to as a Scrum of Scrums meeting. In this situation, an SOS meeting is held to coordinate each group of Scrum teams working on portions of a related project, and then a Scrum of Scrums meeting may be held to coordinate and integrate projects at a higher level. Teams have to carefully evaluate the benefit of having Scrum of Scrums meetings, as the third layer adds a significant amount of logistical complexity. We have a diagram here to illustrate the concept of the Scrum of Scrums, or SOS, and the Scrum of Scrums meeting. In this example, there are 6 Scrum teams working simultaneously. Scrum teams A, B, and C are working on portions of a related project, while Scrum teams D, E, and F are working on portions of another related project. A Scrum of Scrums meeting is held to coordinate the interdependencies between the related projects. A Scrum of Scrums meeting may then be conducted to coordinate and manage dependencies across all projects. The next tool being used is the set of 4 questions per team. In this, each Scrum team representative will provide updates for his or her team in turn. These updates are usually provided in the form of answers to 4 specific questions. What has my team been working on since the last meeting? What will my team do until the next meeting? What were other teams counting on our team to finish that remains undone? And 4, what is our team planning on doing that might affect other teams? The answers to these 4 questions provide information that allows each team to clearly understand the work status of all other teams. Now it is the turn of outputs being generated. Better team coordination is output created. The Scrum of Scrums, or SOS meeting, facilitates coordination of work across multiple Scrum teams. This is especially important when there are tasks involving inter-team dependencies. Incompatibilities and discrepancies between the work and deliverables of different teams are quickly exposed. This forum also gives teams the opportunity to showcase their achievements and give feedback to other teams. By using the SOS meeting, there is collaboration across the organization, as opposed to people working in closed teams concerned primarily with their individual responsibilities. With this, we wrap up the video on the process Convene Scrum of Scrums. I hope this session was easy to understand. In the forthcoming video, we will take you through the next process called Demonstrate and Validate Sprint. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.